Hello students, you remember last time we discussed about some grammatical pointers and also we tried to read a passage. I hope you read the passage with your parents or alone by yourself. Do you remember the title of the passage? It was about football, yes? Very good. You read about football and also you read about Roman would like to be a doctor and you try to see how many professions there are. So I hope you have read those passages and do the questions and try to guess the meanings of the words which are written in bold contextually. Very good. The other point that we have discussed was about adjectives and adverbs. I hope you try to do the questions. I hope you have done the homework. Good, very good. So today we are going to continue from there. So we stopped at page 26 last time, if you remember. We were about to continue now. So it is about can and can't. You know this structure of the grammar? I hope so, because these are very common structures that we always use to ask permissions and to tell about our ability or to tell about our abilities and permissions. So can and can't. So before we directly go to here, let us revise about verbs, because these are one of the verbs. How can we use this as a verb? So verbs, as you remember, when we discuss about adverbs, I told you verbs are action words. Action words. So we can divide verbs into different types. The first one is a main verb. This is what we call action words. Action words. The second one is helping verb. Helping verb. And the last one is modal verbs. Modal verbs. So we have action. Main verbs means words with action. When you say the word, you are going to act. You can act them. Like for example, eat. If somebody says eat, you can show the action. Jump. Jump. This is also an action. When you come to the helping verb, this helping verb can be divided into different kinds again. Different kinds. The first one is the verb to be, the verb to have, and the verb to do. Here also you can include modal verbs. Modal verbs. So what are modal verbs? Verbs that will help us to make sentences. To make sentences like will, would in the past tense, may, might, can, could, shall, should. These are modal verbs. Modal verbs. So we can use them in different structures. Different structure. From all these, we are going to use only can for today. Can. Can is a verb that can express our ability and our, sometimes we use it to ask permission, but it is totally wrong. For example, you raise your hands to your teacher and ask a permission. May I go to the some of you or some students say, can I go to the bathroom? But it is totally wrong. When you ask permission, mostly you have to use, this is a polite word, may. May I go to the bathroom? When you come to can, it is about ability, something that you can do. If you say, can I go to toilet? Yes, of course you can, but you are not asking a permission. You have the ability to go to there. Can I have your pen? Sometimes, in this case, you can ask a permission. But for permissions, it is advisable to use this may. Can it is already associated with ability. Ability. Something that you can do. Something you can do here, something you cannot do. Also the negative one. You know what negative means. This apostrophe and T shows it is can not. When you are writing it in short, it can be can't. So can and can't is used to express something that you can do, ability. So when you say I can write French, then that means you have the ability to write French. If you say I can't speak French, you are telling us that you don't have the ability to speak French. So this modal verb is used to express ability and sometimes in some cases permission. But the polite word to use in permission is may. So you have to remember this. There are some examples here. On page 26 of your books, there are some questions. We can do it together, some of them. The first one is already done for us. So let us do the second one. Balcha is in Harar now. Balcha is in Harar now. Are you following me, students? Read with me and answer the questions. If blank, if he blank find a job in Harar, he will stay there. Now, this shows us the ability to stay in Harar for Balcha or to come here. So, Balcha is in Harar if he can find a job in Harar, he will stay there. So, you are going to fill the blank with can. This, let us do this, the next one. Let us see number 4. Children, you blank go out now. It is dark outside and dinner is ready. Now, when it is dark, can we go out and play? No. So what are we going to use? Can or can't? Of course, can't. So, children, you can't go out now. Why? Because it is dark outside and already our dinner is ready. So, just using this, you can fill the blanks on page 26 with can and can't. Please, dear parents, check if the students are filling the blanks correctly. It is on page 26 and try to check and give them correction. If it is difficult for them to do it alone, please help them. Okay, this is about the grammar one. The other one is also on page, as I told you earlier, I want you to do the questions or the vocabularies by yourself. Even without your parents, I want you to guess the meanings of the words from the context by yourself. Target, suffering, sympathy, qualify, completion, admission, succeed, and aim on page 28. There is a matching part, so you are going to guess the meaning. Don't go to the dictionary. Don't ask anyone. Try to do it by yourself, because guessing the meanings by yourself will help you to add some additional vocabulary to your list. So try to do this by yourself. The other thing is about profession. It is about writing parts, profession, and commas again. Commas. If you remember, when we discuss about writing, we discuss about how to use punctuation marks. From these punctuation marks, we have seen commas. Commas are very important. Do you remember what I told you about commas? Very good. Commas are used when we are listing things in order. If you remember the examples, I have pen, pencil, bag, exercise book. When you are listing these things, in between you have to put a comma. So on your textbook there are given sentences on page 28. So you are going to use these commas in their correct place. The other thing that you are going to, we are going to see is here profession. You know what profession means, students? Very good. Professions are many. Can you tell us some professions that you know? Professions are something or some people that they can do. Like for example, farmer. You know what farmer means? Yes, a person who plows the ground and plants. There is also a reporter. You know, news reporters. When you see TVs or when you listen radios, there is a person who reports news to the audience or to the listeners. So he or she is called a reporter. A librarian. Do you know what a librarian means? A librarian is a person, it can be a he or it can be a she, who keeps and arranges books. When you go to the library, you find this librarian and you can ask a book and read there in the library. So a librarian is a person who arranges books in the library. Scientists. Most of you want to be scientists, yes? Very good. Scientists means a person, again it can be a he or a she, and scientists, they want to discover some new things. Some new things. So this is what we call scientists. And the other word is pilot. Pilots are, you know what who pilots are, yeah? Pilots are a person who flies aeroplanes. So pilots are flying aeroplanes. If you want to travel from one place to another place, and if you are using an aeroplane, there is a pilot in the aeroplane. At the same time, if you are using a car, we call him a person who drives a car is called a driver. Very good. And chef, you know what chef means? Good. Chef is a person who prepares food. A teacher is just like me, who teaches students in the classroom, in the school. Artists, it can be musicians, it can be painters. These are what we call artists. Film actors, musicians, artists, painters, these are artists. Doctors, we have different kinds of doctors, but mainly we know a person who can give us, who can treat us when we are sick. So there is also police officers, there is also a traffic man. All these are professions. So if you remember last time we said, what would you like to be? You can choose one of the professions that we have discussed earlier. So on page 29 of your books, these all professions are there. So these professions, there is a blank space and you are going to match these professions. I explained what it means. So you are going to explain, match the professions with their work. You can do it as a homework. Please, dear parents, check the students to copy these boxes on their exercise book and to match the professions